today. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
And today is the final day to vote early, and we are breaking records for voting. Kennesaw State political science professor Kerwin Swint says the record-setting numbers cross party lines.
There's a lot of energy out there on both sides this year. It's good to see.
Now, metro Atlanta area counties are seeing turnouts exceeding 50%, for Forsyth County leading the way at more than 64% of those registered to vote already voting there. Georgia Secretary of State advising that a viral online video is not real and is likely part of a targeted disinformation campaign.
The video has already generated more than 500,000 views since appearing on Thursday, but it is a fake, and Brad Raffensperger is calling on social media platforms to take it down. In the clip, a man claiming to be a Haitian immigrant says he has obtained multiple Georgia IDs and voted multiple times. Raffensperger says they're working with state and federal partners to determine the origin of the video, but he believes it may have been generated by Russian operatives. He says such foreign interference is meant to sow discord on the eve of the election. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
And the Atlanta Regional Commission out today with its annual survey of the top concerns for Metro Atlanta voters.
The economy is listed as the top worry on the minds of those living around the city. It switched places with the top concern of 2023, which was crime. Being able to buy a house remains troublesome for many. More than half of those responding say they're concerned about climate change, while a large number of Metro Atlantans worry about public transportation, but feel it takes a back seat to many other regional issues. Nearly 1 in 4 respondents said they strongly disagreed that an ambulance would arrive in a timely fashion in case of a medical emergency. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Our in-depth election night coverage will start at 6 o'clock Tuesday. We'll have complete coverage of all the races and results as they come in, and the next morning here on 95.5 WSB. We are your 2024 election station. Your weather for today, mostly cloudy, afternoon highs around 80. You might run into a stray shower, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That's coming your way at 12:05. Atlanta police searching for the family of a little boy. He was found wandering in the middle of the road in southwest Atlanta. He appears to be around 3 or 4 years old. He was discovered by a couple that were driving down Mount Gillian Road and Briar Glen Road late last night. We do have a picture of the little boy online. You can take a look, WSBradio.com. We also have it on the WSB Radio app. Disappointing October unemployment report is out today. America's employers added just 12,000 jobs last month. Analysts were predicting close to 250,000. The unemployment rate remains at 4.1%. Sandy Springs-based UPS is hiring. They're holding a hiring event today. Big Brown looking to hire thousands of seasonal workers. Those jobs include package handler positions, drivers, helpers, and drivers. Salaries starting around $20 to $23 an hour. The company saying most applicants get a job offer in less than 10 minutes. You can apply online at the UPS website. Wendy's is closing 140 restaurants in the coming months, but the company saying that they would open an equal number of new locations in areas that they believe can generate better business and be a better location for Wendy's. Wendy's saying that the restaurants that they are closing are, quote, outdated and located in underperforming areas. No word on if any or how many Metro Atlanta restaurants will be closing. And it's the start of a Georgia Bulldog weekend here on WSB. The Dogs in Florida renew their border war Saturday in Jacksonville. Georgia is favored by more than 2 touchdowns, but Bulldogs radio analyst Eric Zeier expecting a tough game with the Gators.
In this game, really doesn't matter what the records are. It is always going to be a battle when you're in Jacksonville.
And Georgia's looking for its 4th straight win over Florida. Our pregame action starting tomorrow morning, 11:30, kickoff 3:30. All the action right here on your home of the Georgia Bulldogs. All right, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in positive territory. The Dow's up more than 1%. NASDAQ also up more than 1%, and the S&P's almost there. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Veronica Harrell's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Well, a little better news this time on the south side. The crash over on 75 southbound before State Route 138, exit 228, now all off to the right. Still a few brake lights leaving Morrow, getting over into Stockbridge. Also, the tractor-trailer crash, 85 northbound at Highway 74, exit 61. It is also off to the right, just a tap of the brakes there. Brake tapping because of construction, 20 westbound over at Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68, and knocks out a right lane. And downtown, just a few brake lights both directions, 75, 85 north and south. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
Time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta Homes.
Mostly cloudy, a few stray showers through the afternoon, high 80. Partly cloudy, warm and dry for the weekend. Saturday's low 61, high 81. And for Sunday, low 62, high 77. Now my 5-day forecast for Monday and Tuesday. We stay partly cloudy Monday, low 62, high 74. And on Tuesday, partly cloudy, 20% chance of a stray shower, low 62, high 79. Recapping the forecast for today, mostly cloudy, a few isolated showers, high 80. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
68 degrees in Alpharetta and Calhoun. Vinings has 69. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. It's an open line Friday, the last one before the election. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, I'll be sending you email updates through the weekend if you're subscribed to the show notes email. You can get the podcast, the live stream, everything you need. Okay, we got to start with the big story. There are actually two competing big stories today. The one is Donald Trump's comments about Liz Cheney, where many members of the press are mischaracterizing it to suggest he wants Liz Cheney before a firing squad. What Donald Trump was actually saying was that Liz Cheney should be put on the front lines in a war, that she's a chicken hawk, he said, or a war hawk. And they have a way of changing their mind if they were confronted with being on the front lines. Of course, the media willfully mischaracterizing that, and the media is overplaying that. I'll play you his remark. This was Donald Trump.
But his daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
Very clearly talking about putting Cheney on the front lines instead of our sons and daughters and watching her change her tune on war. Of course, Liz Cheney characterized this as a firing squad. Members of the press characterizing it a firing squad. The very same members of the press who were willing to imply an apostrophe in Joe Biden's statement from Tuesday are out to get Donald Trump on this. Meanwhile, the big headline that Americans are waking up to today, this is from Fox Business.
Private sector jobs, negative 28,000. Negative. Okay, we were looking for 90,000 added, negative 28,000 on private. Factory jobs, a loss of 46,000 jobs. Government jobs, we added 40,000 government jobs.
That's Fox Business. This is CNN.
It's a massive drop, of course, from what we saw in September. That number was also revised lower, down to 223,000 jobs. In fact, what we lost was over 110,000 jobs over August and September. So
that's CNN. This is CNBC.
It is time for the October jobs report. Rick Santelli has that number, or he will in about a second. Hey, Rick.
Yes. The big jobs report, and the prophecy came true. Jobs light, 12,000 in non-farm payroll. That is the lightest going back to December of 2020, and partially explained, of course, by storms, hurricanes, and strikes, but there's more nuance to come. If you look at what the unemployment rate is, that remained at 4.1. So people are going to scratch their heads. Hey, lousy jobs report. Why 4.1? Because the rate comes from the household survey, and the household survey counts those that are off work, absent due to strikes and storms. So they're counted as employed. It remains at 4.1%.
So people who aren't working are counted as employed right now, even though they're not employed due to hurricane strikes and other factors. The total growth in jobs was 12,000. They were looking for 100,000. The 12,000 comes because the government gained jobs. The private sector lost jobs, and the government gained jobs. Not an encouraging look here the last Friday before the election with the economy. Not only that, the August and the September jobs numbers were revised down. That's right. They were revised down. We were told they were good, solid numbers. They were revised down. And now this one, without the revision, this one is only 12,000 jobs here at the end. So the media will play up Donald Trump's remarks, suggesting he wants to put Liz Cheney before a firing squad, and we'll downplay the jobs numbers. They covered for Joe Biden, claiming he did not call Trump supporters garbage when he did. And now, by the way, there's another story related to that. The stenographers are now at war. Here is Peter Doocy on Fox News.
Morning, and we have a story about White House stenographers. First time this whole cycle. The White House stenographers come with the House. They are not political. Some of them have been there since Trump and will be there after Biden. And they are now as mad as you will ever hear a stenographer on the record that White House officials working for President Biden tried to change the meaning of their transcript. So it sounded like the president on that Zoom with Voto Latino was just criticizing a comedian instead of all Trump supporters. So now we've got a supervisor from the stenographer's office who is saying, our stenography office transcript released to our distro, which includes the National Archives, is now different than the version edited and released to the public by press office staff. And Amy Sands, the director of that department, continued, please avoid sharing rush drafts and excerpts, which are subject to review and might create confusion among staff, media, and the public while our stenography office completes a thorough review process. The White House is not explaining what exactly happened here, just to say the president confirmed in his tweet on Tuesday evening that he was addressing the hateful rhetoric from the comedian at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. That was reflected in the transcript, and they're getting some help keeping MSG top of mind from J-Lo.
At Madison Square Garden, he reminded us who he really is and how he really feels. It wasn't just Puerto Ricans that were offended that day, okay?
And there you go. So we got a battle over the stenographer and what he actually said. We have a battle over the jobs numbers. Now we have a battle over Donald Trump. I do have to say, did y'all see that Jets game last night? Not to rub salt in the wounds of the Jets fans out there, but the one of the Jets players was making a touchdown and dropped the ball right as he was crossing into the end zone, and it was not a touchdown after all. Donald Trump on stage with Tucker Carlson. If this race is so close, y'all. As I have said all week long, every misstep, every mistake, every foible, every faux pas matters. Starting the week with Madison Square Garden and Tony Hinchcliffe. Then Joe Biden's comments. Poor old Kamala Harris. You know, Kamala Harris gave a closing address to the nation on Tuesday night, and no one's even talking about it. Kamala Harris had a bad week. She was given the perfect opportunity by Donald Trump and his team with the Madison Square Garden rally, and here at the end of the week, she's hoping to pick it back up with Liz Cheney, but it's also in competition with the jobs numbers of the Biden-Harris economy. And Joe Biden's garbage comments. And Donald Trump getting in a garbage truck. It's a very close, tight race at the end. Donald Trump's closing argument at this point seems to be too much high on his own supply here the Friday before the election. Fan service, not persuading people. But Kamala Harris at the same time isn't doing herself any favors. It's like both sides here at the end are exhausted, getting off message, being distracted by other things, distracting themselves. But I don't know that the momentum has strongly shifted. Marist has come out with polling showing Kamala Harris swinging into the lead in the Great Lakes states. If Marist is right, Kamala Harris wins. Here's what you got to understand in these state-level polls. The average polling error is about 3.4% at a state-level poll, meaning if Trump is up 1, he could actually be up 4.3%. If Trump is up 1, Kamala Harris could actually be up 2.3%. We don't really know yet. What we know is that it's very close. And again, every mistake matters. Donald Trump shouldn't have said what he said about Liz Cheney last night. It provided the perfect opportunity for the media to grab hold of it in the same way Tony Hinchcliffe. But, you know, Joe Biden can still say something. Kamala Harris can still say something. Things can still change. Today is the last day of early voting for a lot of states. Some will continue over the weekend. They're all kind of wound down on Monday. And then on Tuesday is the big day. What I can tell you from the early voting is Donald Trump won the Election Day vote in Pennsylvania by 30%. Based on the pattern, and again, we don't know who people are voting for, but if you assume partisan turnout equates to a partisan vote, if Trump wins by 10 to 15% on Election Day in Pennsylvania, he's probably won Pennsylvania. But we don't know. Meanwhile, while you've got Donald Trump out there saying this stuff about Liz Cheney, you've got Mark Cuban out there on The View suggesting that Donald Trump doesn't have any smart women around him, that conservative women are stupid.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
From his private jet, no less, Mark Cuban gives us the statement that Donald Trump doesn't surround himself with smart women. Really? Really? Dr. Victoria Coates of National Security, Miriam Adelson, the billionaire, Susie Wiles, the campaign strategist, Kellyanne Conway, the pollster. He put Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court. Saying conservative, and that's essentially what he's implying, conservative women are stupid. Both sides seem to be alienating every potential voter. Both sides do. I'm ready for this to be over. I suspect you're ready for this to be over. It will be over in a few days. I don't actually believe that it's going to take us weeks to find out who won this race. Some states are going to be difficult. Wisconsin's going to be difficult. But I don't really think that we're going to be waiting 2 weeks. I'm willing to be wrong on this. I hope I'm not. But I'm kind of ready for it to be done. And I kind of think that the closing arguments are going to be overshadowed by a jobs number that is absolutely not good. The jobs number is just not good. 12,000 private sector jobs, and they're actually not really even private sector jobs. They're jobs caused by government. And that's a reflection on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. But here's the thing. Donald Trump needs to focus on this for the next couple of days. Leave Liz Cheney alone. Focus on the jobs and focus on the American Orthodox Jew in Chicago who was shot by a Muslim illegal alien. Focus on those things. Barnstorm the country and win. What's notable is that Donald Trump is doing more events daily than Kamala Harris, and he's going to more states daily. Kamala Harris is just in Wisconsin tonight. Donald Trump is in Michigan and Wisconsin. Yesterday, Kamala Harris was in Arizona and Nevada. Donald Trump was in Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. And that's the thing that is raising my spidey sense at the end. The Republicans are putting money into states that shouldn't be in play, and Kamala Harris is taking money out of states that should be in play. And that's kind of my red flag moment here at the end of the race of where the trajectory probably is. means the Republicans are going to take the Senate. And Donald Trump, the momentum is still headed in his direction. But God bless him, he needs to not do fan service the next 3 days and just make a persuadable case to undecided voters, of which there are still many.
Want to be on the show?
Hello? I love your show.
Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
1220 in the Cool Ray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. We're checking on a slow zone, 85 southbound. It is just below Highway 317, exit 111, causing delays through Swanee, and something tying you up on Georgia 400 northbound, right around Windward Parkway, exit 11. At least one lane closed, causing delays through Alpharetta. This report brought to you by Georgia Pathways. If you're uninsured and working, volunteering, or pursuing higher education, you may be eligible for free health insurance through Georgia Pathways. Visit pathways.georgia.gov to learn more. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
Election Day 2024.
Your vote counts.
I will stop the invasion.
Listen all day and night for up-to-the-minute election coverage.
We are focused on the needs of the American people.
Election Day is 4 days away, and beginning at 6 p.m. election night, listen for our special in-depth election coverage with results and analysis.
95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. Kamala and Joe raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Inc.
Fall's a busy time and selling your home can be overwhelming. The Guaranteed Offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. It's Eric Erickson here. Mark Spain Real Estate's Guaranteed Offer allows you to bypass the market, skip the uncertainties of a traditional home sale, and close within days. No showings, no open houses, and no costly repairs. With over 12,500 five-star reviews, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Are you sick of all the fancy charts and investment mumbo-jumbo thrown at you to justify the Wall Street fees you're being charged? It's not the size of your nest egg that matters, but rather the income it can produce. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who have retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money into this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better, stress-free retirement, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie, The Retirement Deception. 888-471-3896. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. So don't delay. Call 888-471-3896. Again, that's 888-471-3896.
When athletes and actors want to be protected and respected, they hire an agent to represent them. If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need representation too. You need the strong arm, John Foy and Associates. It's Smilin' Mark McKay. Injuries are challenging. You need experienced representation that has a winning track record. I'm proud to recommend John Foy and Associates. Thousands of 5-star reviews from satisfied clients tell their story. Get your free case evaluation with zero upfront cost. JohnFoy.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. It's an open line Friday if you want to be on the program. Also, please text ARMY, A-R-M-Y, to 33777 and get in our system so we know you're out there where you are. We will help you get active in the next legislative cycle. And when we come see you in your area, go to your affiliates. We want to be able to shoot you an email and let you know. I gotta confess something to you. I hurt. So about a month and a half ago, I had to get braces. And on Wednesday, they added brackets to my upper back molars. And I cannot speak without them tearing into my gums. And the wax, everybody's so used to it, the wax is not helping. And so as I am talking to you on the program today, as yesterday, I am just, my gums are getting cut. All I can do is taste blood. It is excruciating. I feel like, and I feel mushy in how I speak because I can only open my mouth so far before these damn things dig into my gums. I am not enjoying this. And I got half a mind to get on Amazon and overnight one of those orthodontic pliers and rip these things out. I am sorely tempted to show up this afternoon at their office and say, take them out. This is deeply uncomfortable stuff. And I realize, like, kids go through this, but kids' mouths are softer and more malleable than someone who's in their 40s. And this is deeply uncomfortable. I hadn't been able to eat anything decent since Wednesday. So I'm hungry, so I'm already in a bad mood. And now every time I talk to you, I taste blood because these things are cutting into my mouth. I think I'm ready for these things to be done. I was a good sport for the first month or so, and they put these in right before this election, and I'm in a foul mood today. So you need to be warned already. I'm in a bad mood. I'm bleeding when I talk. My mouth hurts. I can't eat. I didn't have lunch today. Haven't had breakfast. I don't want to eat because it just makes it worse. So, full disclosure: if I light you on fire when you call in today, it's just I'm hangry and I'm hurting. There you go. I'm really, really angry about this. We got to move on. We got much more to talk about. First, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com today, you can get the free Pocket Constitution, Declaration of Independence. You can get Imprimis. You can get the podcast network for free from Hillsdale College. You can get Dr. Larry Arnn's Conversations of the Constitution. You can get. You can also get. You can get. I'm sorry, just got distracted by a text. You can get Victor Davis Hanson's lectures on citizenship. All you got to do is go to ericforhillsdale.com. ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com today, you can get the Pocket Constitution free. Get Imprimis, though. I've made it through. I've read my full copy of Imprimis. It comes to you free. I've been getting it since law school. ericforhillsdale.com. Go check them out today. Also, on your podcast app, you can get their podcast completely for free. ericforhillsdale.com. But get the Pocket Constitution. It's great. And then start a relationship with Hillsdale College. You can get their classical education guides. You can get their Constitution series, so much more. And you don't pay a penny. It's ericforhillsdale.com. ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Happening right now, Atlanta police searching for the family of a little boy who was found wandering in the middle of the road in southwest Atlanta. They say the child appears to be between 3 and 4 years old and has not spoken to them. A neighbor saw the little boy after a couple found him. Channel 2 Action News asked her what condition the boy was in.
I couldn't tell. They had a blanket wrapped around him. He only had a diaper and a T-shirt on.
Now, the child was discovered by a couple driving on Mount Gilead Road at Briar Glen Road Halloween night. We have posted a picture of the little boy online. Take a look, WSBRadio.com. Mostly cloudy today. Afternoon highs 80. A stray shower is not out of the question, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Update on election 2024. The ACLU is filing an emergency lawsuit over the failure by Cobb County to mail out more than 3,000 absentee ballots in a timely manner. The lawsuit claiming that that's putting those voters at serious risk of being unable to make the existing November 5th deadline to return their ballots. The county says voters will get their absentee ballots via UPS overnight or express mail. The county also notes that even if you requested a ballot, you can decide to go ahead and early vote in person by 5 o'clock today. And this is the last day for early voting here in Georgia. Our in-depth election night coverage begins at 6 o'clock on election night. We'll have complete coverage of all the races and results as they come in. And again, on the next morning, right here on 95.5 WSB, we are your 2024 election station. This is also new here at 12:30. As Georgia and Florida prepare for their annual showdown tomorrow, the two schools have now agreed on a new contract to keep the game in Jacksonville. The deal announced today goes into effect in 2028 and runs through 2031. The current contract ends next season. The games in 2026 and 27 will be played in Atlanta and Tampa as renovations are being made to Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. It is 12:32.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Georgia Power's commitment to total restoration from devastating Hurricane Helene continues. After restoring power to customers and rebuilding the grid in areas with the worst damage, Georgia Power is now offering account assistance to affected customers. Learn more at georgiapower.com/Helene.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices. Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips? But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active Liver Tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day Active Liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. Or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Veronica Harrell's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And talking about delays over in Alpharetta, some type of trouble, possibly construction. Georgia 400 northbound up around Windward Parkway. Exit 11 has at least one lane closed, slowing things down for you. And it crashes off to the right, 85 southbound below Highway 317, exit 111, but delays remain through Swanee. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Mostly cloudy, a few stray showers today, high 80.
And WSB Storm Tracker radar is rain-free right now. We do have more clouds than sun, mostly cloudy skies here in Midtown Atlanta, and 70 degrees. It's 70 in Ackworth and 69 in Decatur. More news at 1 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson. Welcome. It's an open line Friday. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you would like to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you, particularly if you're focused on the election. Last Friday before the election. It's almost over. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Okay, hear me out. And I can be wrong. I'm willing to acknowledge that maybe I'm in my own bubble, maybe I'm seeing things. But just hear me out on this. In 68 of the last 69 Senate election cycles, in a presidential election year, whichever way that state went for president, it also went for the Senate. So in 2016, 2020, got 69 elections. The only deviation was in 2020, Trump lost Maine and Susan Collins won. There's a story, the Cook Political Index. It's behind a paywall. I paid for it, so you don't have to. If Republicans sweep blue wall states, which have all tightened in the final weeks, they could get 54 or 55 Senate seats, a cushion for a tougher 2026 midterm cycle. However, if they only attain a narrow 51 or 52 seat majority, look for the moderates like Murkowski and Susan Collins to wield outsized influence in Congress. Democrats believe even if Vice President Kamala Harris narrowly loses in key swing states, their battle-tested members will still be well-positioned to outrun her showing and hold on. If Republicans cruise to victory, they will not only have been aided by a map that ran through deep red and swing states, but their party's advantage on the economy and immigration and a strong night for former President Donald Trump. They've also doubled down on their anti-transgender messaging and believe the culture wars work in their favor when it comes to women's sports. According to data from Ad Impact, in the final 2 weeks, Republicans have outspent Democrats in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and have been at near parity in Nevada by gross ratings points. The two sides are tied in Michigan and much closer in Pennsylvania. In our final Senate outlook, we're not making any ratings shift. Our projection is Republicans are most likely to pick up between 2 and 5 Senate seats, which would give them a majority between 51 and 54 seats. Now, follow along with me here, please. I still don't think Kari Lake wins in Arizona, but the last 2 polls out of Arizona show her now ahead. And the polling averages in Arizona have shifted in Kari Lake's direction. The Democrats are now putting money into Virginia. The polling average in Arizona last week had Ruben Galeo 6 points ahead. It's now got him ahead by 3 points. In Wisconsin, just last week, you had Tammy Baldwin up by 2.8 points. She's now only up by 1. In Ohio, Sherrod Brown is only up by 1 now. Everything just seems closer than it should be. And the trend lines are for the Republicans. This is Donald Trump's last election. He has alienated single women as has the GOP on the abortion issue. Single women, apparently their only issue is whether or not they can kill kids that they don't have and don't want. I'm just flummoxed by it. It is such an overriding issue for single women. You know, married women, interestingly enough, the data is coming out that there is no marriage divide here. Married women and married men are both voting for Donald Trump. It's the single women that's the issue. But Donald Trump is also penetrating non-white men. In Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, although the non-white numbers are small, Donald Trump is making inroads measurable in polling. In the Sun Belt states, he's making inroads. Donald Trump went to New Mexico. New Mexico is not a state Donald Trump is going to win or shouldn't win. What is his campaign seeing that has him in New Mexico? What is Kamala Harris seeing that has her team spending money in Virginia? Following the money doesn't seem to look like a Kamala Harris win. What I know is that the race is remarkably close. Like, for example, Donald Trump is going to be in my town, Macon, Georgia, on Sunday. He's going to do a rally on Sunday in Middle Georgia. Donald Trump should not still need to be campaigning in Georgia, but he is. Kamala Harris is done with North Carolina. She shouldn't be. There's something that they're seeing internally, both campaigns, that has Harris nervous about Virginia, Trump more nervous than he should be about Georgia, and Trump optimistic about New Mexico, and Harris nervous about Pennsylvania still. None of that points to a Democratic victory. When you take into account a jobs report that only 12,000 jobs were created, y'all, I don't see this personally being as tight as I keep telling you it is because of how they're spending money. It makes it look like the internal polling suggests Trump's doing better than he actually is. But if the public polling deviations are wrong, Kamala Harris could sweep all 7 states. If the public polling deviations are wrong, Donald Trump could sweep all 7 states. It really is that close. But I'm going to go there. Call it irrational exuberance, whatever you want to call it. When I see Kamala Harris pulling money out of North Carolina and putting it into Virginia, that looks like the Democrats are worried. When I see Donald Trump going to New Mexico and Republicans now putting money in New Mexico, maybe it's irrational exuberance on their part, but it looks like they're seeing something. When Nevada is as close as it is in early voting between the parties, and the Senate Republicans have decided to devote more money here at the end to Sam Brown, that's going to be tied to the presidential race, and that matters. The flow of money, the direction of the Senate races, it all points towards the GOP. The fact that there are less conversations now about the House Democrats taking the House points to the GOP. It can all go upside down on Tuesday. Now listen, the people who are already saying the only way the Democrats win is if it was stolen, they're not smart people. They're not smart people. And I know some of them are listening right now. And they're going to call my call screener, yell at my call screener, but I need you to know you're not a smart person. If you're already dug in your heels that the only way the Democrats win is it's stolen, you're an irrational cultist. They can very well win. It's a very tied race. But I do feel like the money. And I do feel like where the candidates are and how much time they're putting on the ground does suggest a trend in favor of Donald Trump. Here at the end, the last Friday before the election, the data does point towards Trump. All that can change. It depends on Election Day turnout now. It depends on what he says at the very end. What is his closing argument? If his closing argument is Liz Cheney needs to be put on the front lines of war, he's losing it. If his closing argument is jobs, the economy, immigration, crime, he's winning. This entire week, Kamala Harris has been overshadowed by everything else. The question is, how much overshadowing does Trump do that helps him or hurts him? And right now, The data and the trend lines and the flow of this race suggest the GOP should have a good night on election night. It can absolutely change. That's how close it is. But that's where I think we're winding up. Now, let me take a couple of phone calls here. Open line Friday, 877-973-7425. Chris, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing fine, Mr. Erickson. I want to say thank you for having me on your show. And I just want to say that I was listening to you and I was deciding that I was going to stay out. I was not going to vote. I was just tired of all this mess. Like you said, I wanted to send a message. But you know what changed my mind? When you've got Vice President Harris coming to Atlanta, I live in Gwinnett County, Georgia, and to get my attention, she has a hip-hop star twerking. Then you have former President Obama telling me that I am not a genuine black man if I do not vote for a strong black woman. And last time I checked, she's not black. She's an Indian American, and I have no problem with that. But I feel that I'm a 68-year-old black American, and I'm a Marine Corps vet. You're not going to tell me that I'm not black if I don't vote for your candidate. And the Democrats have done that also. So with what the Biden said one time, if I didn't vote Democrat, I was not black. I voted for Trump before. Just like you have said it also, sir, because his personality gets in the way sometimes. But I vote on issues. If they would stop making these campaign events, entertainment venues with comedians and rappers and directors and actors, start concentrating on the issues, they would get our attention more instead of pandering to the least common denominator. Because the last time I checked, Aaron, my first name isn't Morgan, but as far as I'm concerned, I am a free man. I'm a free man, and I'm going to vote my conscience, and I did last Saturday.
Good for you. Good for you, Chris. Thanks for calling in. And yeah, look, y'all get out there and vote. You have an impact when you vote. And I got to tell you, I still think that Democrats don't appreciate the lecturing tone that they've applied towards younger black men, trying to tell them they must vote and they must vote for Kamala Harris. I just don't think that goes over well. Ed, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
You talking to me?
Yes, I am. Ed, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How about yourself?
Great.
So you just want me to just kind of like stand by? Is that the big
Nope, Ed, you are live on national radio.
Oh, my goodness. Well, congrats. I guess I'm okay. My question is this, and it really comes from listening to the rhetoric from both sides and really kind of concluding that they really both have sort of fascist tendencies when you get right down to it. And our only real breakwater is the Senate. And so what I wanted to ask Eric is, what are your thoughts on what the Senate will do and can do to win back control of the executive?
Oh, that's such a great question, Ed. I'm glad you actually asked the question. I think the United States Senate and the House of Representatives, for that matter, need to claw their power back, regardless of who the president is. Claw the power back from them, because the presidency has gotten too powerful. We need a Congress that actually legislates instead of just shows up and goes on TV. We need a Congress that insists that it is the primary branch. We talk about three co-equal branches of government. It's not really true. The reason the legislative branch is first is because the founders wanted to highlight that it is the most powerful branch, and it needs to start acting like it again. And the Senate can do that because since senators serve 6-year terms, only a third of them are really beholden to an incumbent president of the same party, and that allows the Senate itself to stretch its legs and claw back power from the president. I hope they do. Now, I need to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. AFP is barnstorming this country, knocking on doors, getting people out to vote. They would love to have your support. If you go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer, americansforprosperity.org/volunteer, Americans for Prosperity can train you to be a great, effective conservative activist. Not only that, they can give you all the information you need to make an articulate case for advancing common sense conservative reforms in this country, from securing the border to school choice to fighting for families. All you have to do is go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer today. Sign up with AFP. They've got chapters in almost every state. They would love to have you involved with them. They're a great organization. americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. I'm doing an event for them in Salt Lake City in December. It's going to be cold. I'm going to enjoy it. They're a great group. I love to stand with AFP. They would love to have you stand with them. Go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer today.
When the world seems crazy, he'll keep you sane. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 in the Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news over in Norcross if you're traveling southbound. Crash 85 southbound at Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99 has since cleared. Still, you're running into some delays. You are still running into delays, though, because of a crash 85 northbound north of Pleasantdale Road, exit 96. Got a right lane taken out there. Construction also on the right lane, Georgia 400 northbound at Hammond Drive. And looks like there may be construction Georgia 400 northbound up around Windward Parkway, exit 11. Also taking out one lane. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
The polls say it's a dead heat.
If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years.
Election day is 4 days away.
We are not going back. Whatever happens in this election,
The American people are fed up.
We've got Election Day covered.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB.
Your 2024 election station.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman of the Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, whether we want to be or not, we are all wrapped up with this presidential election. But what, if any, effect should that have on our current and future financial planning?
You got to go back to your plan. Your plan is very individualized. We will create something around what works for you and your family and your needs. And we'll cover and we'll check the boxes on the Democrats, the Republicans, the tax changes, Social Security impact, etc. We are watching all of those metrics and those topics extremely close so that you don't have to. So tamp down your political belief and let us just present to you a full financial plan. And yes, for the next 4 years, 8 years, 20 years of your life, we're going to have to move around as tax brackets change, as Social Security payments may be impacted. Nobody has pensions anymore, so as pensions kind of wane and fall away, we need something to replace them. But there are some things that we certainly pay attention to on the political landscape, but that political landscape is one piece of many. So there are many metrics we're looking at. The election's a heated topic and very interesting to talk about, but it has to have its proper place. It does not take front and center in our decisions to invest or our plans. That's having a vision for if this goes this way or this way, we need to be prepared for either scenario. That's where the Replace My Paycheck Challenge and having a deep income discussion with our advisory team could serve everybody very well.
Go ahead. Take the Replace My Paycheck Challenge today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta. WSB-FM and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station.
This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. If you are in the business of business and want to grow your business, all you got to do is go to firstlibertyga.com and see if they can help you. firstlibertyga.com. We've got the final schedule of Donald Trump barnstorming the nation. On Saturday, he's now, hang on a second, I'm sorry, I gotta pull up a map here. I'm looking here. Be patient with me. We gotta go to Salem.
Get the podcast, live
what
stream,
the heck is
email,
that?
and
That's what I was waiting for. That's why I wasn't saying anything when we came back. I was waiting for that audio, and it never came. And I was like, am I crazy? What's going on? We're having the computer gremlins are back. Okay, so here's the thing. So Trump on Saturday will be in Charlotte, North Carolina, Salem, Virginia, and Greensboro, North Carolina. Where is Greensboro, North Carolina? Let's see this. So Salem, Virginia is outside Roanoke. Greensboro, it's got to be Greensboro, shouldn't it? There's no such thing as Greensboro. Yeah. This list says it's got to be Greensboro, North Carolina. And then on Sunday, he's going to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He's going to be in Kingston, North Carolina. Then he's going to be in Macon, Georgia. On Monday, he's going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, Reading, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Notice he's not going to Wisconsin in these events. He's going to round out in Michigan on the Grand Rapids, Michigan. So he's going to do several in North Carolina. Oddly doing that one in Salem, and I guess part of it is the you can get some of the North Carolina, but that's kind of an odd thing. You're doing Greensboro a couple times. You're doing Charlotte. The man is all over the place. He's only doing one closeout event in Georgia. He's not doing Arizona or Nevada. He doesn't need to do Arizona. They've got Arizona 1. Nevada is kind of a wild card, but playing North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and then rounding out in Michigan, that's a pretty big deal, and he's going to be focused on Western Pennsylvania in particular as well. So there you have it. Donald Trump barnstorming the nation. The final 3 days of the campaign trail. Lots of Pennsylvania, lots of North Carolina. 1 Georgia, 1 Michigan. No Wisconsin, no Nevada, no Arizona. He doesn't need to do Arizona. And honestly, at this point, Nevada is baked in with an early vote. They feel pretty confident. They weren't confident about Nevada, and suddenly they're liking what they're seeing in Nevada. They got to boost Election Day turnout in Pennsylvania, though. They got to boost Election Day turnout. When we come back, we're going to shift gears to this shooting in Chicago that has not made a lot of headlines. The data on it is pretty disturbing, and I'll take your phone calls. Open line Friday, 877-973-7425.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual Imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Hip Nation. This just in, we have gotten word that a child that was found in the middle of the road in southwest Atlanta last night has now been reunited with his family. We've been telling you about it all day, but again, we have found out that the little boy has now been reunited with his family. He was found by a couple who were driving on Mount Gilead Road and Briarclin Road late last night. Again, the little boy's family has been located, so he is back with his family this afternoon. That is good news. Now to Athens. A judge there in the Classic City is considering whether to suppress some of the state's evidence against the man charged with the murder of Laken Riley.
Jose Ibarra's defense team says police seized and searched his two Android phones without a warrant. The GBI's Cameron Karate tells the judge they put those phones in airplane mode
because devices can be remotely wiped.
Special prosecutor Sheila Ross acknowledges though the phones were in custody before they had a warrant, they were never searched until there was one.
And there's no harm.
Defense attorney Caitlin Beck argues.
The point of the matter is, without a warrant, they tried to enter Mr. Ibarra's phone. That is exactly what our case law prohibits them doing.
Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
All right, your weather for today, mostly cloudy, highs around 80. A stray shower is possible, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Update now on election 2024. A hearing expected later this hour after an emergency lawsuit is filed as thousands of Cobb County voters wait for their absentee ballots in the mail.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Georgia and Southern Poverty Law Center are filing the suit, calling for legal action to ensure all affected voters can participate in the election. Cobb County Board of Elections Chair Tori Silas says they are overnighting about 3,000 absentee ballots.
We are working with vendors, specifically USPS. They've been amazing in this effort to get the ballots out.
The lawsuit demands Cobb County extend the return deadline to November 8th. The county also reminds voters if you requested an absentee ballot, you can still vote early in person by 5 o'clock today. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
As Georgia and Florida get ready for their annual showdown tomorrow, the two schools have agreed on a new contract to keep the game in Jacksonville. That deal announced today. It goes into effect in 2028 and runs through 2031. The current contract will end next season. It's 102.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-926-0155. 800-926-0155. 800-926-0155.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Kamala Harris worked with Joe Biden to make things cost less for all Americans. Here are a few examples of what they did. They made a rule that prescription drugs can't cost more than $2,000 for people on Medicare like seniors and the disabled. They lowered the cost of inhalers to $35. They lowered hearing aid prices by making them available over the counter. And they lowered the price of insulin to $35 per month. Paid for by American Independent Radio.
Thanks for calling Reliable Heating and Air. This is Steve. How can I help you?
Hi, I know it's late, but my furnace just died on us.
Don't worry at all. We have over 300 technicians throughout Metro Atlanta and Macon, so we can get to furnaces fast.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, yeah, and it looks like you have a reliable protection plan.
Yeah.
Perfect. This service call is no charge, and so's the repair.
Thank you so much.
Get fast and fair price furnace repair. Go to ReliableAir.com.
Reliable air is always just right.
Buy your dream home now and sell your old home later with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program. Plus, Orchard makes price-boosting upgrades at no upfront cost. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Get your free home valuation at Orchard.com.
Welcome your guests into a healthy home this Thanksgiving by calling the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Mention WSB Radio and you'll get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Veronica Harrell's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at the roads on this Friday afternoon.
And issuing a travel advisory on this Friday afternoon over in Holly Springs with a crash. 575 northbound, little north of 6th Road, exit 11. Only the left lane is open, so use Highway 5. A crash off to the right, 575 southbound below Highway 92, exit 7, still causing brake lights out of Woodstock. And another crash off to the right on 575, but it's 575 northbound at Bells Ferry Road, exit 4, causing delays through Kennesaw. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Mostly cloudy with a few stray showers. That diminishes this evening, and overnight will be dry and warm. Falling through the 70s into the 60s tonight. By Saturday morning, 61. Partly cloudy and 81 tomorrow. Sunday, partly cloudy, low 62, high 77.
We have mostly cloudy skies in Druid Hills, 70 degrees out in Jefferson, 68 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and in Woodstock, a little bit warmer there, 71 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. Can I just say, and I realize, were I a better radio show host, I would save this for a short segment. I don't understand the people who coordinate Halloween costume. And I have lots of friends, and so I don't mean to be insulting my friends. I see your Instagram pictures, the whole family thematically dressed up for Halloween. I don't get it. I don't know. I got friends who their families were like a whole slew of Disney characters. Some of them were Ninja Turtles. Nope. My family never. Part of that was the age disparity, I think, between me and my older sisters and whatnot. But nope. No. Can't. I don't get it. I don't relate. I'm glad you do, and I'm glad you had fun. And some of them were very adorable to see on Instagram. But it's just not me. And also, please, y'all, listen. I am self-aware when I make this remark. But moms in particular, because it was the moms, it was not the dads last night. Moms, you're not thin enough or young enough to wear what you were wearing. And I'm sorry if that's insulting, but come on, nobody wants to see that. Nobody. Your children were embarrassed. That's why they were so far ahead of you last night trick-or-treating. They didn't know. Stop. Have some self-awareness, please. My God, people, just please, no. If your pants look like they were painted on and you are got too many curves, y'all stop, please. Last night, it was not a matter of the parents dressing their children up in skimpy outfits. It was the parents themselves wearing skimpy outfits when they did not need to wear skimpy outfits. There was too much of them to see with the skimp. We can move on now. I got it out of me. Oh, my gosh. All right. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. We got to talk about the story. On October 29th, officers from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Removal Operation Chicago lodged an immigration detainer with Cook County Jail in Chicago, Illinois, on Sidi Mohammed Abdullahi, 22, a Mauritanian national, following his arrest for 6 counts of attempted murder and 4 counts of aggravated discharge of a firearm. Mohammed Abdullahi was encountered by U.S. Border Patrol on March 31st, 2023, near San Ysidro, California. This man, Sidi Abdullahi, from Mauritania, 22, somehow got a gun and shot an American citizen who's an Orthodox Jew who is headed to synagogue in Chicago. This man was released by the Border Patrol into the United States on March 31st, 2023. And because Chicago is a sanctuary city, Chicago was unwilling to previously comply with requests about this gentleman to detain him. An American citizen who is Jewish walking to a synagogue on Saturday was shot, thankfully not killed, by a Mauritanian Muslim illegal immigrant who somehow got a gun. Now, it's Chicago. Apparently, it's not hard for people who aren't allowed to own guns to get a gun. He got a gun, an illegal alien. Y'all, one of my frustrations with Donald Trump is his, as I started our talking about Halloween costumes, his impulse control issues and his lack of focus. Being on stage with Tucker Carlson last night, I mean, he had to have known the media was going to play up anything. In fact, he made a joke about it on Thursday night, climbing into the garbage truck. If he didn't get it right, they would make jokes about his mental capacity and cognitive decline. And so he says what he says about Liz Cheney on stage with Tucker Carlson. That becomes the big headline. Donald Trump should pivot to this story. Donald Trump's closing argument should be about Mohammed Abdullahi shooting a Jew on his way to synagogue on Saturday in Chicago. Donald Trump's closing argument should be this story. This would not have happened if Donald Trump were president of the United States. And by the way, this is the perfect story for Donald Trump to end his campaign on, because the man who was shot was Orthodox Jew. That will perfectly divide the Democrats. This shouldn't happen, and it keeps happening. And Kamala Harris has been there the whole time. She could have changed. She says she's going to change things. She could have changed things. She hasn't changed things. She hasn't engaged on the issue. Kamala Harris claims that if she becomes president of the United States, that the border policies of the Biden-Harris administration will change. Why hasn't she changed them now? Had the Biden-Harris administration actually done a good job on the border, this man in Chicago would not have been shot by a Muslim illegal alien who somehow was able to get a gun. Side note, there's a perfect pivot for Donald Trump on this issue about guns. The Democrats do want to take your guns away. Kamala Harris can say she's an owner of a Glock all she wants. Tim Walz can say he's a hunter all he wants. You know, and I know, they want to take your guns away. How is it as easy as it is for an illegal alien in Chicago to possess a firearm that they cannot legally buy? How did they get it? Where did they get it from? They don't want law-abiding citizens to arm themselves, and yet illegal aliens keep finding their way into guns. Donald Trump, for the next 3 days. Talk about Muhammad Abdullahi. Talk about people in this country should not have to worry about going to church or synagogue and getting shot by illegal aliens. Talk about the young women in this country who have been killed by illegal aliens. Oh, the media is going to hate it. The media is going to savage you. The media is going to twist what you say. But the difference between your Liz Cheney comment and this is every American knows what you mean and they're sympathetic to your statements. Talk about the economy, 12,000 jobs created. They were expecting 100,000 created. You know, in the final jobs number before the 2020 election, 600,000 jobs were created. NBC News said that was a bad number. Should have been over 1 million. People coming back from COVID. Should have been over 1 million. That it wasn't, showed the economy was not recovering. NBC treated 600,000 jobs created as bad. They're pretty quiet about 12,000. Talk about that. Crime, the border, the economy. Here's my concern. Bottom line, here's my concern. I think that Donald Trump has been shown his polling. And Donald Trump knows how good his polling position is. That he's not going to Arizona anymore doesn't mean he doesn't think he's going to win it. It doesn't think he's going to win. He thinks he's already won it. That he's not going to Nevada in the last few days. He was just there. He's got to focus on the East Coast, but they feel pretty good about Nevada. He's not going to Wisconsin. He's going to spend a lot of time in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, one stop in Georgia, one stop in Michigan. He's focused on where it matters. Kamala Harris has pulled all of her money out of North Carolina. She's not going back to that state. She thinks she's lost it. Kamala Harris is focused on Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. She thinks if she wins all three Great Lakes states, she wins, and she's right with the Electoral College. Trump needs to focus on the issues, not Liz Cheney. Trump needs to focus on the issues, not Kamala Harris. Crime, immigration, the economy. He can win this election on those things. He has been winning the election on those things. The trend lines are there for Donald Trump. The trend lines are there. 12,000 jobs created in the economy. Maybe there was a hidden apostrophe or comma in there we don't know about. Doesn't seem to be the case. An Orthodox Jew on his way to synagogue shot by an illegal alien from Mauritania who got a gun in Chicago. This is Joe Biden's America. There's a story as well of an illegal alien from Honduras who has been arrested, charged with raping multiple children as young as 4. This illegal alien from Honduras was enrolled as a student in a public school in Louisiana. There's your story. Yes. Is it fear-mongering? Yeah. But, I mean, Kamala Harris is out there telling the women that Donald Trump's going to kill them all if he becomes president. If you want to fear-monger with the actual news headlines. Fear-monger with the actual story that's going on. Fear-monger with the truth, not the lie. An Orthodox Jew walking to synagogue in Chicago was shot by a Muslim illegal alien who got a gun in Chicago. Children as young as 4 in Louisiana have been raped by a Honduran national illegal alien enrolled in public schools in Louisiana using federal dollars to cover his tuition. This is happening. This is happening in the United States of America. This should be Donald Trump's closing argument. It's political malpractice if he's not focused on these issues at the end. He does not need to be like that Jets football player, running across into the end zone, dropping the football early. Stay on message. Keep your foot on the gas. Keep rolling forward. The economy, illegal immigration, and crime. The economy, illegal immigration, and crime. Ignore all the rest of it.
Want to be on the show?
Hello? I love your show.
Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
119 in the Coolway Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Right now, travel advisory because of a crash. 575 northbound, a little north of 6th Road, which is exit 11. The two right lanes are closed, causing delays. Go ahead and use Highway 5. Also, another crash is 575 southbound below Highway 92, exit 7. It is off to the right, but still causing brake lights through Woodstock. It's construction Georgia 400 northbound north of Hammond Drive in the right lane, slowing things down. And the crash now 85 northbound north of Pleasantdale Road, exit 96 is off to the right. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
Election day is 4 days away.
She's unfit for office.
And your voice is your power.
Your vote counts.
Everyone knows
and
it.
that's why you can count on us.
We must seize this opportunity.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
And beginning at 6 p.m. election night, listen for our special in-depth election coverage with results and analysis.
95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station.
New investigations break on Channel 2 Action News. We get problems solved, plain and simple. Every day we follow the facts.
Started digging, only to find...
Getting you the answers you need now.
We have live. Team 2 coverage.
Channel 2 never stops, advocating for you.
An investigation regarding your tax dollars.
We're more than just Atlanta's news.
A warning for consumers regarding...
We've got your back, all over North Georgia. See what's new, live, every day at 4, 5, and 6 on Channel 2 Action News.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate allows you to bypass the market and skip all the stress of a traditional home sale. It's Eric Erickson here, and I just so happen to have Mark Spain with me. Mark, what obstacles do you avoid by choosing the guaranteed offer?
We're not doing home inspections, so therefore you're not going to have some home inspection contingency. We're not getting an appraisal or financing contingency, which we know when you're selling a home the traditional way, you're praying that the buyer can get their loan. You're praying that the appraisal can come in at the price that's on the contract. If not, it adds so much complexity and uncertainty. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, it's all cash, it's a quick closing, there's no appraisal. We are going to buy the house for what the contract price says. End of story.
Skip the stress, make the most money, sell your home fast. Mark Spain Real Estate has served over 58,000 satisfied clients, and with nearly 30 years, they know what matters most. Selling your home fast and for top dollar. Go to markspain.com, find out what your guaranteed offer will be. There's no obligation. That's markspain.com and start packing.
For nearly 50 years, Shane Company has been Atlanta's most trusted family jeweler. We make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, amazing settings, and so many ways to customize. We've got your style and your price range covered. Atlanta, come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Do you know the secret to losing fat permanently? Hi, I'm Dr. Taylor from Be the Younger You Atlanta, and I know the secret. Our anti-aging program makes it easy to lose weight, regain your health, and for many of our patients, reduce or even come off their medications. All without drugs, surgery, prepackaged meals, or injections. No counting points or calories. And you feel great while losing it because if you're doing it the right way, you should feel great.
Hey, it's Shelly Winter. The Be the Younger You ATL.com weight loss program is the best ever because it really works. You lose the weight and the weight stays off, just like it has done for me. Stick to the program and you will look and feel much, much better. Go to BeTheYoungerYouATL.com right now or call 770-415-3000.
Call us now to schedule your free consultation and take advantage of our 20% off fall special. Call 770-415-3000 or go to BeTheYoungerYouATL.com. That's BeTheYoungerYouATL.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in stores at CVS or Meijer or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number 877-973-7425. It is an open line Friday, and Tracy has been waiting very patiently. Tracy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Eric, you were speaking truth about ladies in the Halloween costumes, but you're going to be in so much trouble.
Listen, I don't mean to be insulting, but my neighbor across the street even came where there was one particular family, and my neighbor came over and she looked at me and she said, I guess I can't really say what she said on air. I'll get in trouble. But she was like, this woman, she's like, how, like so it was my neighbor who pointed out, and she just said, did you see that this woman's kids were embarrassed? I was like, okay, I'm glad you said that because I thought that. And I'm just like, come on, people, act your age.
Well, here are my questions. If Trump wins the presidency and Republicans win the House and Senate, what can Trump and those Republicans accomplish in the first 2 years of his term? And then why did those Republicans support the bipartisan immigration bill that Harris touts?
Oh, good questions. Okay, so let's deal with the bipartisan immigration bill first. So there are a number of Republicans who actually think and argue that the group that opposed it actually mischaracterized it and mischaracterized it, gambling that if Trump gets elected and the GOP gets the House and Senate, they can go even further. So you had some who wanted a solution and others who were like, we can get a better deal if we win everything, and they were willing to play for broke to try to get it. That was that one. Now, on the first one, what can Trump and the GOP actually do? Reconciliation. People forget that the Democrats under Chuck Schumer have set a precedent that in the first year of a presidency, a president can do 2 reconciliation packages. That is, they can do 2 budget packages that bypass the filibuster. So you can, as long as you get a majority in the House, 218 votes, and 50 plus 1 in the Senate, you can pass these massive budget reconciliation plans twice in the first year. So they can do a dramatic upheaval of the budget and tax packages if they control everything. The more important issue, though, Tracy, that they can do is judges. There are going to be a lot of open judicial seats. In addition, Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito. Clarence Thomas is not getting any younger, and neither is Sam Alito. And the next president has the opportunity to replace Clarence Thomas for sure, maybe even Sam Alito. They don't want to wind up like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And the rumor on the street in Washington is that if Trump gets elected with the Republican Senate, once this term is up for the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas is very likely to retire, knowing he doesn't want to take a chance on a Democratic-controlled Senate after 2026. So he would be willing to retire. That's why the GOP needs to go for broke on Tuesday and win everything, because they absolutely need to replace Clarence Thomas. He's not getting any younger. I wish he was immortal, but he's not, and we don't want him to wind up like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or for that matter, have an Antonin Scalia moment. So that is where I think the lay of the land is. Judges are supremely important, but also they're going to have a great opportunity to do 2 budget reconciliations and the tax reform package as well. That's why we need House and Senate control plus the presidency. Now, I got to tell you about Vision Computers. If you're a sole proprietor, if you're an independent contractor, if you work out of a coffee shop, you're doing graphic design, whatever, Vision can build you a computer that meets your needs, and you get their great tech support. If you call them at 404-COMPUTE, but let's say you've already got a computer. You don't need a new computer, but you sure could use someone you could rely on for help when you don't know how to do something, when something doesn't seem to be right, for email support, for printer support. If you call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE and talk to them, for $179 a year, they can be your IT solution. So you're sitting in the coffee shop doing your work as a freelancer. You can call Vision when something goes wrong. 15 seconds or less, you're going to get the answer for what's going on. And if they can't give it to you directly, they can remote into your computer and figure it out for you. All you can do is call them at 404-COMPUTE. They can be your tech support solution. You're a freelancer. You're in the gig economy. You can't afford any downtime. They'll make sure you don't get any downtime. They'll keep you up and running. 404-COMPUTE. Give Vision a call. In fact, if you call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, tell them I sent you, you're going to save even more money. You can also go check them out at visioncomputers.com, anywhere nationwide. 404-COMPUTE. Give Vision Computers a call.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Update on election 2024. The ACLU is filing an emergency lawsuit over the failure by Cobb County to mail out more than 3,000 absentee ballots in a timely manner. The lawsuit claims that that's putting those voters at serious risk of being unable to make the existing November 5th deadline to return the ballots. The county says voters will be getting those absentee ballots via UPS overnight or UPS Express or United States Postal Service Express mail. The county also notes that even if you requested a ballot, you can decide to vote early in person by 5 p.m. today. This is the last day for early voting here in Georgia. We are still breaking records when it comes to voter turnout. Now, both Trump and Harris will make a final campaign push through Georgia this weekend. Harris in Atlanta tomorrow, Trump in Macon on Sunday. Our in-depth election night coverage starting at 6 o'clock next Tuesday. We'll have complete coverage of all the races and results as they come in. And the next morning here on 95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station. Well, daylight saving time ends this weekend. The fallback time is 2 a.m. Sunday, so you want to set your clocks back an hour before going to bed on Saturday night. Dr. David Schulman with Emory Sleep Center says the time change can impact your mood.
We tend to be less tolerant of stresses in our lives when we're sleep deprived. And, so there are all sorts of things about which to be intolerant in life these days. But when we're sleep deprived, we just tend to adapt to it a little less well. And as a result, it can cause pretty significant issues with exacerbating underlying mental health challenges.
He says sleep interference can also increase the risk of everything from strokes to heart attacks and motor vehicle accidents. It's the start of a Georgia Bulldog weekend here on WSB. The Dogs in Florida renew their border war with Saturday in Jacksonville. Georgia favored by more than 2 touchdowns. But Bulldog radio analyst Eric Zeier expecting a tough game with the Gators.
In this game, really doesn't matter what the records are. It is always going to be a battle when you're in Jacksonville.
And our pregame starting tomorrow morning, 11:30, kickoff 3:30 right here on your home of the Georgia Bulldogs. And as Georgia and Florida get ready for their annual showdown tomorrow, the two schools have agreed now on a contract today to keep that game in Jacksonville. The deal announced this afternoon. It goes into effect in 2028 and will run through 2031. It is 1:32.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual Imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. Kamala and Joe raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Inc.
Hey, it's Ashley Frasca from the traffic team. And you know, when I report traffic every morning, I hear from people that are jammed up. They are bumper to bumper, and there's not enough room to move on the Atlanta roads. You know that. So let me ask you, is the storage at your business like that? Do you feel like you've outgrown your space? Shipping Containers for You has the perfect solution. Shipping Containers for You has 40-foot and 20-foot containers that can be delivered to you within days. Go to shippingcontainersforyou.com. Find the shipping container that you need for your home or business and have it delivered within days.
Here's Veronica Harrell with a look at the roads.
And right now, still talking about delays. 575 northbound up around a Sixes Road, exit 11. Crash pretty much now only in a right lane, but still tough delays through Holly Springs. And elsewhere, 985 southbound, some type of trouble at State Route 20, exit 4, causing delays. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad, and it's mostly cloudy, a few stray showers today, high 80.
All right, more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Show.
Mark Halperin reporting right now on social media. The inside belief is that Trump has stalled. No more upward momentum in his campaign. There you have it from Mark Halperin. All right, it is Open Line Friday. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, Adam, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric, thank you for having me.
Sure.
So my question is about the housing market and the interest rates that come with it. So I'm 31 years old, trying to get my first house. Now, being that the housing market is so high, the interest rates are so high, I'm wondering what's going to be done with Donald Trump, his administration, versus Kamala. I don't think there's enough talk about it, really what's going to be done and how to get this down so we're not looking at having such a high payment. Possibly not so much equity when we go out to sell it in the future. I was wondering what's your take on
that? Okay. Let me go through the two competing plans for Trump and Harris when it comes to housing and the cost of housing and where things are going to go. And by the way, did you see, Adam, that mortgage interest rates have gone back up? Yeah, there's a story in CNBC today that despite the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, the mortgage rates have gone back up, and because of uncertainty in the markets, among other things. But so here are the two ideas. So Kamala Harris's idea is she wants to give everyone a $25,000 tax, essentially credit or deduction for buying a house. And that'll help you make your down payment by reducing it by $25,000. And then she wants to work with providing incentives for home builders to build more houses. She doesn't really say what those incentives are going to be. Now, here's the problem with Kamala Harris's plan. If the federal government gives you $25,000 for a down payment, you know what's going to happen is all of the costs of homes are going to go up by $25,000. Government subsidy leads to higher prices in the market. Everybody, free market economists, all the liberal economists, they all kind of agree with this, that if she gives you $25,000 to put a down payment, that's just going to actually drive up the cost of housing. And she doesn't really have a plan for incentivizing more home building. Now, here's the Trump plan for more home building. That is, get rid of the regulations. There's a massive number of regulations that are now related to the cost of materials, the cost of building, environmental compliance, OSHA compliance, everything else. Got the regulations. It makes it cheaper to build a house, which will mean the price of a house will come down, and also disincentivize local zoning rules that make it impossible to build single-family homes. There are in places around the country the NIMBYs, the not in my backyard people, who have made it harder to build small houses. In some parts of the country, that you've got to build multi-acre houses on multi-acre tracts. You can't build houses on a half-acre tract, etc. Becomes a problem. So Trump will take a deregulation approach, and Kamala Harris will take a subsidy approach. Now, I know basic economics, and in basic economics, the subsidy approach drives up prices. The deregulation approach drives down prices. But there's a catch with Trump as well. The catch with Trump are the tariffs. So Donald Trump wants to add tariffs to all imported products. A lot of home building materials are imported into this country. If he goes through with this plan, that'll drive up the costs. It would take some time to build them domestically, and even then, they couldn't be built as cheaply as they are overseas, so your costs would come up. So any offset from regulatory deregulation from the Trump plan would be offset by the increase in material cost. That's the problem. Now, if Trump goes through with deregulation but not the tariffs, it will be cheaper to buy a home in this country. Mortgage rates are coming down. Interest rates appear to be headed downward, which will also then drive down mortgage rates further, other than this little blip we're having right now. So the Trump plan seems to me to make more sense, but still, it's going to be difficult. Now, Caroline, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Eric?
Great.
I have a question. Since if it does go all Republican for both the Senate and everything, is there a possible that they could have a national election? I mean, just like make it a holiday?
Oh, I kind of favor the idea of a national holiday for everyone to go vote, provided, however, that we gut early voting. This 2 months of early voting in some states I think is ridiculous. Let's all go stand in line together, be miserable, and either sweat or freeze or get wet together.
Or make new friends.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Now, there's been a movement in the past to do it, but they can never get enough votes in Congress. Here's why. Contrary to the spin that Republicans don't want this, actually a lot of Republicans do, and what it is it has to do with the calendar of federal holidays. There are already so many federal holidays. They just added Juneteenth as a federal holiday. There's a concern with adding too many of these federal holidays, and that tends to be the labor concern among members of Congress is giving everyone off. So by law, you're allowed to take off Election Day to go vote. Your employer cannot deny you time off. What the Democrats say is that that's true, but if you're an hourly worker, they don't have to pay you the hours that you're standing in line. And the Republicans say that's true, but if you're an hourly worker and Election Day is a holiday, you're not going to get paid for that holiday time off either, so what's the point? So they can never come up with a good solution. I think the ultimate solution is they're going to have to find an existing federal holiday and say this is gone, and to replace it with Election Day. But the problem with that, of course, is that Election Day is only every other year, really. So what do you do in those off years? That's why we've never had an election holiday. There are good arguments on both sides. I'll tell you what I wish we would do is get rid of fallback and spring forward. And let's just use standard time. So, I'm actually a big advocate of daylight saving time, but I did see a map the other day. And if we had daylight saving time all year long, in New York City, for example, you would not have sunrise until 9 a.m. in parts of the wintertime, and even in the southern states, it would not get bright until well after 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning if we stayed on spring forward. So let's just do fallback, and let's stay on regular time all year long. This spring forward fallback stuff, and perfectly, I think it's just kind of garbage at this point because, we're doing fallback this Sunday. So this coming Sunday, a lot of people thought it was this past Sunday. It's going to be this Sunday. 2 days from now, we're going to fall back, and you know what that's going to do? It's going to give this election an extra hour. And I'm so ready for this election to be over. I'm so ready for this election to be over. We need to have it done. We need to have it done. Okay, Wes, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, sir. I appreciate you letting me host your show for 20 seconds and give your gums a break.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to make a comment. You've talked before about how character matters, and I agree with you. But when I see people, and this goes for both the candidates and the people on stage speaking, but when I see first ladies up there and what they're spewing is just astounding to me. These ladies have made it to the highest level of female positions in this country, but you would think that they would offer more grace as an example, and it's just shocking to me, and it's quite sad.
Yeah, look, okay, so Wes, you're singing from my songbook here, and this is the thing that frustrates me the most about our present election cycle altogether is the character of our candidates should matter, and people, particularly on the right, have now rationalized, well, I'm not picking my preacher, I'm not picking a church elder, I'm just picking a politician, but we should want better from the politicians and their wives as well. We should want better from the politicians and their husbands as well. We should want better from the people who are to lead our country. And I honestly think it's a damning indictment on the American church that the American church has involved itself so much in politics, that the American church went from character matters with Bill Clinton to now we don't care, we're not electing our preacher. You want to improve the politics of the country, you improve the character of the candidates, you improve the character of the candidates by having the church stand up and say we're not going to compromise on this issue. But American Christians are all too willing to compromise on every possible issue so long as they can vote for one side and not the other side. They have become the cheap dates of American politics, and they're getting exactly what they deserve and exactly what they want. But it's across the board. You can't just say it's the Democrats, you can't just say it's the Republicans, it's all of them. It's absolutely all of them. And that's sad to see so many pastors and pulpits standing up and saying, we're not electing an elder for our church, so character doesn't count. No, character tells you a lot about people, and we've got people of bad character on both sides of the aisle, And I'm frustrated with the way the churches have decided to get involved in American politics these days. It's just not smart to me. John, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, Eric. How you doing today?
Good.
So, question for you. In election interference, why does the Secretary of State release data on who was voted early and thus allows the campaigns to adjust their strategies? And to give you an example, as you talked about the other day, if the Democratic Party in Georgia knows they need 34+% black Americans to vote, and they're only at 27%, wouldn't they adjust their strategy to try to get more black Americans out to vote?
Yes. Okay, so here's why. There's a simple answer, John, and that is because secretaries of state are partisans. If they weren't releasing the data publicly, the secretaries of state would be releasing the data to their parties. There's no way you could keep a Democratic Secretary of State from whispering to the Democratic Party, here's what I know about early voting turnout. Same with the Republicans. So by law, they've got to be as transparent as possible about it. Likewise, because historically in this country, we do allow the parties to see the patterns of people voting, it adds to the transparency of the process. But since no way either side would keep it completely quiet from their own party, might as well make it fully transparent and let the parties adjust. It is a novel thing. It's a chessboard, and people are moving chess pieces around that board at the end. You provide them more data. You help them refine their strategies towards the end of the election. I personally, as a political junkie, think it's kind of cool that we have this amount of data. We can see the black vote, the white vote, the male vote, the female vote, the age vote, the partisan composition, and so the parties can adjust their strategies to the bitter end. It makes it a little more difficult and complex now from back when I had started running campaigns when you didn't have this copious amounts of data. You couldn't make these sort of adjustments at the end, but now you can, and I think it adds to the process. And again, they're going to release the data to the partisans of their own side, so by releasing the data to everybody, I think it actually kind of helps the process along. The only downside here is that in the early voting process itself, when things go wrong, it allows the conspiracy theorists to seed the conspiracy theories to make people doubt the election. Just yesterday, a bunch of people were releasing a video of a group of Haitians in a car stating that they had only been in the country for 6 months and already had Georgia driver's licenses and had registered to vote. We're going to go vote. It's not true. The whole video is a lie. I don't know if it's the Russians doing it or someone else, but it's not true. But I've seen plenty of Republican operatives circulate the video, attacking Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger and others in the state of Georgia, saying, look at this, look at what y'all have done. It's not true. The whole video is fake. And the number of Republican operatives circulating it still today after it's thoroughly been debunked just shows you how many of these people want to lie and they don't care about the truth. If we weren't early voting like we're doing, these things wouldn't happen. between bank collapses. I don't know if y'all have seen this, mortgage interest rates going back up today. Even though the overall interest rate's going down, there's clearly something going on in the market right now. Swiss America has been warning about these things in the market and the secret war on cash. They're the trusted leader in precious metals. They have been for 40 years, and they've been warning people about the secret war on cash. If you're interested in safeguarding your hard-earned cash from the secret war on cash, you need their free report. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They can educate you on protecting your assets. You can get their report. It takes less than 15 minutes to read, and it can save you on your retirement and finances. You get a free copy by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash, it's growing, it's spreading, it includes digital currencies. All you have to do is mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K. When you call or text 800-289-2646, that's 800-289-2646. You get the report completely for free from Swiss America. Mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K. All you have to do is text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
He'll do the research and give it to you straight. Eric Erickson is live every weekday.
150 in the Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Well, crash remains in the right lane, 575 northbound at 6's Road, exit 11, causing delays. And a crash is off to the left, 75 southbound, the South 120 loop, exit 263 over in Marietta. This report brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support at Camlin Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
Election Day is 4 days away.
I will stop the invasion.
We are focused on the future.
Your vote counts. That's why
You can count on us.
We need the American dream.
We are about fighting for our future.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
And beginning at 6 p.m. election night, listen for our special in-depth election coverage with results and analysis.
95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station.
Fall is a busy time and selling your home can be overwhelming. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. It's Eric Erickson here. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market, skip the uncertainties of a traditional home sale, and close within days. No showings, no open houses, and no costly repairs. With over 12,500 five-star reviews, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Are you sick of all the fancy charts and investment mumbo-jumbo thrown at you to justify the Wall Street fees you're being charged? It's not the size of your nest egg that matters, but rather the income it can produce. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who have retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money into this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better, stress-free retirement, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie, The Retirement Deception. 888-471-3896. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. So don't delay. Call 888-471-3896. Again, that's 888-471-3896.
Thanks for calling Reliable Heating and Air. This is Steve. How can I help you?
Hi, I know it's late, but my furnace just died on us.
Don't worry at all. We have over 300 technicians throughout Metro Atlanta and Macon, so we can get to furnaces fast.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, yeah, and it looks like you have a reliable protection plan.
Yeah.
Perfect. This service call is no charge, and so's the repair.
Thank you so much.
Get fast and fair price furnace repair. Go to reliableair.com.
Reliable air, it's always just right.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. zones. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. We must go to the tape here. We must talk about this conversation. This is Stacey Abrams on CNN.
We've seen, I want to ask about Liz Cheney in just one second, but early voting has been just breaking records from day one in Georgia. You have been working on improving voter turnout in Georgia for years. What do you think is driving this surge in early voting this time?
Well, while we are excited about who's showing up, we have to understand that turnout does not mean there's not voter suppression activity. A lot of those voters in 2020 were able to vote by mail. One of the reasons we're seeing early lines is because they can no longer use the easier method of voting by mail because of SB 202, because of SB 189, laws that Ratzenberger and Brian Kemp supported and pushed forward. People who are disabled, people who have lost their homes are facing harder times casting their ballots, but they refuse to be silenced. And what we are excited about is that here in the state of Georgia, despite the government making it harder to cast your ballot, people are willing to fight to make it happen anyway. So they're showing up, they're standing in lines they shouldn't have to stand in because they believe their voices matter and that this election matters. And we believe they're standing in these lines, especially to support Kamala Harris.
Listen, Republicans could tomorrow get rid of everything and she would still say it was voter suppression. There's no way. We have record turnout in the state of Georgia and it's voter suppression. It's harder to do an absentee, but you know why people aren't doing absentee ballots through the mail this time. By the way, let me explain to you the process of doing an absentee ballot now in Georgia. What you do is you get online and you go to a particular website that the Secretary of State runs, and you put in your driver's license number. And it says, oh, the driver's license number matches your information, fill out the form. And you fill out the form, and you print the form and sign it. You either send it as a PDF, or you drop it off, or you mail it, and you get your absentee ballot in the mail. You don't have to show photo ID because you write your driver's license number on it. And guess what? You know who pioneered this? The state of Minnesota, where Tim Walz is governor. That's right. So it's voter suppression. We have record turnout, but Stacey Abrams wasn't the one who enabled record turnout. And so Abrams is incapable of giving credit where credit's due, so she has to claim voter suppression. Got to claim voter suppression. And yet there's record turnout. More people have cast early ballots in Georgia now than they did during 2020. That's right. 67 million people have voted statewide or nationwide, and in Georgia, more people have been able to cast ballots this year in early voting than cast ballots in 2020 early voting. It is a remarkable turn of events, the amount of votes that have been cast now compared to 4 years ago. And yet she wants to say that it's voter suppression. She wants to say it's voter suppression because fewer people are voting absentee. They're showing up and standing in line. You know why so many absentee ballots were cast in 2020 was COVID. COVID was that. And in 2020, by the way, Stacey Abrams was willing to admit that COVID had everything to do with it. But now she can't say she can't blame it on anything, so she's got to say voter suppression. Good Lord, these people. When we come back, let's switch gears. We'll keep taking your phone calls, but we got to talk about the crazy white progressive women.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-926-0155. That's 800-926-0155. 800-926-0155. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. An emergency lawsuit filed after Cobb County mails out more than 3,000 absentee ballots just days before the election. The lawsuit from the ACLU claims those voters are at serious risk of not making the existing November 5th deadline to return their ballots. The county says there was a last-minute surge of absentee ballot applications. Cobb County Board of Elections Chair Tori Silas says they are overnighting those ballots.
We are working with vendors, specifically USPS. They've been amazing in this effort to get the ballots out.
The county also notes even if you requested a ballot, you can still vote early in person by 5 o'clock today. A hearing on the lawsuit will be held in Cobb County Superior Court this afternoon. Our in-depth election night coverage begins at 6 Tuesday. We'll have complete coverage of all the races and results as they come in, as well as the next morning on 95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station. It is 74 degrees in Atlanta. Any stray showers around this weekend? Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Atlanta police find the family of a young boy found wandering in the street on Halloween night. The 3 to 4-year-old child was found walking alone in the middle of the road near Mount Gilead Road near Briar Glen Lane in southwest Atlanta just before 11 last night. Just before this afternoon, police say they located the boy's parents. The investigation is ongoing, and it's not yet determined if they'll face any charges. Charges are dropped today against a Clark Atlanta student who says he was mistaken for a road rage shooting suspect. Atlanta police arrested and charged Ladavius McNair in connection with the 2023 shooting, and he's been in the Fulton County Jail ever since. He and his attorney say McNair was in class at the time of the shooting. The judge is apologizing to McNair and says prosecutors will not be allowed to refile charges. A new Atlanta Regional Commission survey is out today with the top concerns of people in Metro Atlanta ahead of the election.
The economy is listed as the top worry on the minds of those living around the city. It switched places with the top concern of 2023, which was crime. Being able to buy a house remains troublesome for many. More than half of those responding say they're concerned about climate change, while a large number of Metro Atlantans worry about public transportation, but feel it takes a back seat to many other regional issues. Nearly 1 in 4 respondents said they strongly disagreed or disagreed that an ambulance would arrive in a timely fashion in case of a medical emergency. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
It is 2:02, and up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hey, Belinda here, and I have Barry Petrie, Director of Virtual Imaging. Barry has a very interesting testimonial I want him to share with our listeners. Barry, tell us your story.
Belinda, I'm 55. I'm in good shape. I work out every day and took this job about a year ago. Unfortunately, I started having some symptoms about 3 or 4 months ago, so I decided to scan myself. Learned that I had a very high calcium score, and especially most of that was in my LAD, which you know is the Widowmaker. Long story short, I had my first stent put in about 6 weeks ago at Northside, and I feel great. I did not realize that I had lost a gear, and I've got that gear back. And I would have been one of those people that probably would have dropped dead looking perfectly healthy at 60 if I had not taken this role and did that scan.
Oh, wow. Folks, that story hits home. What are you waiting for? Go to Virtual Imaging and get a complimentary heart scan with few minimum requirements for you and your spouse. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or visit virtualimagingatl.com.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The 3 most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all 3. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
It is 2:05 and time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center on this Friday afternoon. It's Veronica Harrell.
Saying happy Friday afternoon to you, Bill. It looks like that trouble over on 985 southbound at State Route 20, exit 4 may have cleared off to the right. Still a few brake lights through Buford. Over on Georgia 400 northbound, the construction just north of Hammond Drive knocks out a right lane. It's causing a slow ride through Sandy Springs, and it is a slow ride still in Holly Springs because of this crash. 575 northbound at 6th Road, exit 11. It remains in the right lane. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. With Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast, we'll stay mostly cloudy with a few stray showers this afternoon, and what little bit of rain there is will be diminishing this evening. We'll be partly cloudy, warm and dry for Saturday, low 61, high 81, and Sunday partly cloudy, low 62, high 77.
It is 74 now in Johns Creek, 72 in Morrow, also 72 in Powder Springs. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America, and I am delighted to have you with me. The phone number, this open line Friday, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, listen, I appreciate everybody calling in and giving me a break. I cannot explain to you how bad my mouth hurts. Every time I talk, I chew. I haven't had good solid food since Wednesday because of these stupid. I think I got to go to the orthodontist and tell them to take these things out. This is just ridiculous. I'm literally every time I speak. If you're just tuning in, let me reset for you. I have braces. Got them about a month and a half ago. I just, long story short, needed them, and Invisalign doesn't work. Can't have real braces. They added brackets on Wednesday to these back molars on my upper teeth, and they have dug in so much I'm literally in commercial break having to pull them out of the lining of my inner cheek, and I'm on blood thinner, so every time I talk I got blood. It hurts. I don't like this. This is deeply uncomfortable, and the wax is not helping. They say, oh, wax, put wax. The wax is not helping. The wax goes away. My wife gave me some little pads to put in. They dissolve over time. This isn't working. It's making me so, I'm trying not to lose my temper on radio, but this is not you. My job requires I use my mouth, and this is impeding my ability to do my job. And it just makes me furious, and I'm hangry because I haven't had a good meal in 3 days. Now, great weight loss plan. I will say that. Who needs those shots when you can actually just get brackets in your mouth that dig into your gums and cause you to bleed while you're trying to chew? In any event, I will move on from my personal problem. It's just to say thank you for good quality phone calls today so I can take a break from some of the talking. I'm going to buy some orthodontic pliers and pull them out myself this weekend if they won't do it. Now, I got to talk about crazy white women. Way to alienate the audience there, Erickson. Let's talk about crazy white women. Not really. Just follow along with me here. If you will be patient with me on the phones, I will get to you. I saw a disturbing video last night, and I can't play it on radio because it is expletive laden. Like every 5 words, this woman stops and says, F you, Donald Trump, F you. She's lost her father, and she's in tears. In this video she's put online, she is in tears because she said she's lost her father. How has she lost her father? He's voting for Donald Trump. He's voting for Donald Trump. And so she's lost her dad. That's a choice she made. And it's a choice a lot of people are making. And it breaks my heart that we are in this situation. I want to tell you something. You're not going to want to hear this last Friday before the election. You know, Kamala Harris could win on Tuesday, not because it was stolen, but because a majority of Americans say they don't like Donald Trump. And in a survey of the senior citizens who voted early in Pennsylvania, a majority of them say they voted for Kamala Harris because they think it's time to move on from Donald Trump. She could win Pennsylvania on that. If she wins Pennsylvania, she's won. She could win on Tuesday. Donald Trump's a polarizing figure. You know what? Some of you may not want to hear this on a Friday afternoon, the Friday before the election, but Donald Trump could win on Tuesday. Donald Trump could win. He could win because a majority of Americans think the country's headed in the wrong direction. Only 27% of Americans think the country is headed in the right direction, and no incumbent party, not president, but incumbent party, no political party holding the White House, when the country, about a quarter of Americans think it's headed in the right direction, no incumbent party has ever won re-election. Donald Trump could win on Tuesday. It becomes a question of, are people voting over their feelings or are they voting over issues? If people are voting over the likability of a candidate, Donald Trump is going to lose on Tuesday. If people are voting because of the issues, Donald Trump is going to win on Tuesday. In a very close election, all of this stuff matters. I played you a couple weeks ago a clip of J.D. Vance talking about it's not worth it losing friends and family over this election. It's just not worth it. And he was right. No reason to revisit the clip, but I want to tell you something else more important. It doesn't matter. Tuesday doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Your friends and family matter more. Because we're going to do this over again in 4 years. You may not like the outcome you get over the next 4 years, whichever side, but Washington affects you less on a daily basis than your local government and your friends and family around you. And if you are upending your relationships with people, like this poor woman who thinks that she has lost her father because he voted for Donald Trump. If that's you, you might need therapy. This woman clearly needs some therapy. part of what's happening here, too, is all of the data overwhelmingly shows that white women who are progressive are suffering disproportionate mental health issues from everyone else in the country. In fact, progressives generally are suffering more mental health issues than conservatives, but white people who are progressive are suffering disproportionately than even black people who are progressive, and white women are suffering worse than white men. We see this playing out with news anchors on television. White progressive women tend to be in the anchor chairs these days, and we see it playing out with them. The stories they cover and how they cover them, the hysteria about Donald Trump, we see that playing out. We see this playing out in TikTok videos. People are not in a good headspace. People need God, and they've got government instead. They've got idols. I need you to know this. I need you to internalize this. Whoever wins on Tuesday is only going to be there for 4 years. Resist the temptation to scream that that's not true. Resist the temptation to scream that it's the last election, because every election is the last election. It's what they say every 4 years, and it's not true. And promise me, if you can't bring yourself to believe me, that in 4 years you'll remind yourself I was right and you were wrong. We're going to do this all over again in 4 years. And some of you who right now say this is the end of it, this is the end of the country, this is the end of it, you're going to in 4 years say this is the end of it. Now, this time I'm right, this time I'm right. Hoping for a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you know what? Let's say you are right. This country comes to an end. No country lasts forever. But what lasts is eternity. And that matters way more than this election. God's not going to give up his throne. You know, it could come Tuesday, whoever gets elected, Scripture tells us it's God's will. You come Tuesday, whoever gets elected by the sovereignty of God, it was his choice. If you show up and do nothing, whoever God wants to get elected is still going to get elected. God is not going to look at the election results on Tuesday and say, well, I don't like that. I think I'm getting off the throne. He's not going to abandon his throne because someone who doesn't like him got elected president of the United States. Kamala Harris could get elected on Tuesday. She'd be the first female president of the United States. Historic. And she'll get there not by stealing the election, but by not being Donald Trump. Part of the reason Donald Trump supporters have to say it was stolen from him if he loses is because they can't be held accountable for choosing the least popular Republican. They can't make themselves culpable, so it's got to be that it was stolen. If Kamala Harris loses on Tuesday, her supporters will blame the Russians or blame white men, blame men, something that they can't hold themselves culpable for protecting Joe Biden until the whole world saw that he really did have mental issues, and then pivoting to the least popular vice president in American history since Aaron Burr. I mean, Kamala Harris, a year ago, Democrats were running stories saying, please, Joe Biden, get rid of this woman, get rid of this woman. She's terrible, and he didn't. And then they got rid of him instead. All this talk about a coup in the Republicans, here's your coup, Democrats. Y'all did it. But it's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. Maybe you won't like the policies from Washington, D.C. for 4 years. They're not going to affect you as much as your city council. They're not going to affect you as much as your school board. They're not going to affect you as much as your county commission. They're not going to affect you as much as your family. They're not going to affect you as much as your friends. Your friends and family are way more important. Your local government is way more important on a daily basis. So don't be discouraged, come what may. God's in charge. If you've got God, the government doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That's not me dismissing government and its impact on our lives and the things that the government can do, but it is to remind you that there's more at stake. There are higher powers. There is a bigger picture, and this is a 4-year thing, not eternity. Eternity's forever. There's no reason to lose your soul to politics. There's no reason to lose your mind to the headlines. There's no reason to lose your friends and family because of a politician. And to the extent that you're the one willing to sever ties with friends and family, you're the one who can't have a civil conversation with the people in your family who disagree with you on politics, that's on you. You're the bad person. You're the bad person. And you should look yourself in the mirror and hold yourself accountable for your intolerance of people who disagree with you. In a pluralistic society where people get to have an opinion different from you, are you the narcissist who believes that anyone who has a different opinion from you, they're the bad people? You're going to be the one to separate from you? You're going to be the one to say, I can't have a relationship with you, like this poor woman who's crying all over social media that she's lost her father? She didn't lose her father. She left her father. If that's you, you need to recalibrate your life. God's in charge, not you. Whoever he wants to be president will be president. His will be done, not your own. But he's not getting off the throne. Everything's going to be fine. Your job is not to go vote for president. You get to. You get to. We're blessed to be able to. That's not your job. Your job's to love your neighbor. And if you can't because of politics, you're to blame, not your neighbor.
When the world seems crazy, he'll keep you sane. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
220 in the Cool Ray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. You are dealing with delays trying to get over into Midtown, all because of a travel advisory. A crash 85 southbound before you get to 17th Street. Exit 84, it blocks the 3 right lanes, causing delays for you. Avoid the backups, though. Think about using the Buford Spring Connector. This report brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
The polls say it's a dead heat.
The fate of our nation is in your hands.
Election day is 4 days away.
Your vote is your voice.
Whatever happens in this election,
I'm going to bring your jobs back.
I'm feeling very optimistic.
We've got election day covered.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
You got to get out and vote. Just go out and vote.
We are focused on the future.
95.5 WSB.
Your 2024 election station.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now, during our Veterans Day sale, save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition smart bed. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
Fall's a busy time and selling your home can be overwhelming. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. It's Eric Erickson here. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market, skip the uncertainties of a traditional home sale, and close within days. No showings, no open houses, and no costly repairs. With over 12,500 five-star reviews, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Shane Company knows shopping for diamonds is a big deal. We've been servicing Atlanta for nearly 50 years, so we know exactly how to help you find your dream engagement ring. At Shane Company, we work with your budget. Choose from our beautiful hand-picked diamonds and gemstones. Select a setting, then add an engraving. It's that easy. Your ring also comes with a free lifetime warranty. Atlanta, this is our promise to you. Come check out one of our 3 local stores, Duluth, Alpharetta, or Kennesaw. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, Priority Men's Medical Center will get your love life back in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your love life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To regain your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here, and yes, you can be on the show. It is an open line Friday. Let me go to Lee's phone call here. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, Eric. Thank you. Really interested to hear your take on Hugh Hewitt leaving the Washington Post. I was looking and I saw the video of where he stormed out when he was on the, whatever it was, production with Jonathan Capehart.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you had seen that, and I know you know Hugh Hewitt, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, okay. So for those of you who don't know, Hugh Hewitt is an occasional columnist at the Washington Post. He doesn't have a weekly column. It's somewhat irregular, but he is a columnist there. And he does this podcast with Ruth Marcus and Jonathan Capehart, two liberals against a conservative. And they were talking about fake news and whatnot, and then began to make a series of statements about Donald Trump that were not true. So Hugh Hewitt corrects them and says, you know, we may be opinion columnists, but we do the news, and the news is that Trump was concerned about something in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and it went to the courts, and the court said he was right, and he won. He had every reason to be concerned about it. The court said he was right. And same with Virginia. It was the Supreme Court agreeing with Virginia about non-citizens. And so Jonathan Capehart, who is a hyper-progressive, comes on and says, I'm not going to be lectured by Hugh Hewitt, who comes on and says fake stuff all the time. And Hewitt just got up and says, I'm done. This is a ad for the Democrats. I'm done with it. Walked off the set. The Ruth Marcus's video feed froze. It ended very awkwardly. And now Hewitt says he's done. I don't blame him at all. I will tell you this, Lee. I was asked a year ago by the Washington Post to enter into an agreement with them to move my daily email to the Washington Post. And I said absolutely not, because you're controlled by a bunch of progressives and you would be controlling my income stream. If I handed you over my daily newsletter and took it off Substack, you could cancel me at any time. and I had no doubt that they would. There was no way I would trust them. So I don't have a problem with you. The fact that the Washington Post keeps around people like Jennifer Rubin and others. And look, I've got some good friends who work there. George Will, I think the world of him. But the Washington Post really needs to clean house with the progressives. All right, I got to tell you, the Eden Pure Thunderstorm is a great product. I use it. My sister actually is taking advantage of my deal. She's going to EdenPureDeals.com and put in Eric3. You can too. ERICK, the number 3 at EdenPureDeals.com. So it's an air purifier. It gets rid of dust and pollen, and it's filterless. So you don't have to keep a filter subscription. It uses electrostatic plates, but where I use it, where it shines, odor elimination. You go to EdenPureDeals.com and you put in Eric3, ERICK3. You get 3 of them. You save $200. You get them for less than $200, and they wipe out odors, litter box odors, pet odors, dirty diaper odors, musty odors. I cook shrimp in the kitchen, and I don't want my wife to know odors. They just work. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code Eric3, ERICK3. You'll get 3 of them for less than $200. You'll save $200. Get one for upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. You can hold it in the palm of your hand, plug it in with a USB cord or the wall. They just work. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Eric3.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story today. The last day of early voting in Georgia. Gabe Sterling in the Secretary of State's office says it's been mostly smooth.
We've had some people who printed their ballot, looked at it, and said, oh, I didn't mean to do that. And they go back to the poll manager, they spoil that ballot, and they go vote again properly. These are the kind of things we always see, but we're not seeing there's no systemic issues. There's no any kind of real problem.
More than half of all registered voters in Georgia have already cast a ballot ahead of Tuesday's election. A hearing in Cobb County Superior Court this afternoon to consider an emergency lawsuit over 3,000 absentee ballots mailed just days before the election. The ACLU says those voters should receive extra time to return their ballots. The Cobb Elections Office says they are using express mail and UPS overnight delivery in an effort to deliver all the ballots on time. Over 60 Georgia colleges and universities are waiving application fees for high school seniors. No fees will be charged during all of November as part of Apply to College Month. Job growth stalls in October.
The Labor Department reported a gain of only 12,000 jobs last month, well below the more than 100,000 expected, as the report was heavily skewed by the impacts of Hurricanes Helene and Milton and the month-long walkout by Boeing's factory workers in Washington State.
Money reporter Jason Brooks says the nation's unemployment rate holds steady at 4.1%. As Georgia and Florida prepare for their annual showdown tomorrow, the two schools agree on a new contract to keep the game in Jacksonville. The deal announced today goes into effect in 2028 and runs through 2031. The current contract ends next season. The games in 26 and 27 will be played in Atlanta and Tampa as renovations are made to Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. It is 2:32.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
New investigations break on Channel 2 Action News. We get problems solved, plain and simple. Every day we follow the facts.
Started digging, only to find...
Getting you the answers you need now.
We have live. Team 2 coverage.
Channel 2 never stops advocating for you.
An investigation regarding your tax dollars.
We're more than just Atlanta's news.
A warning for consumers regarding...
We've got your back all over North Georgia. See what's new, live every day at 4, 5, and 6 on Channel 2 Action News.
If you're losing your hair or maybe just starting to notice that you're losing it, you're looking for a solution, I got you, because I know the team at Advanced Hair. It's Mark Aaron back with you. You know, they're the real solution. They come with a guarantee, and I can see what they can do, and you can too, just like these guys have.
Everything has been fantastic. Person that I came in and talked to initially about it was very helpful. When I came for the procedure, everybody walked me through everything step by step. It was very well explained and very easy. If you're sitting on the fence, just do it. You'll be really, really happy. I wish I would have done this 5 or 10 years earlier.
One of the things I like about them, not some factory in a big medical building. These guys are like a dream team that came together and said, let's do this right. So good, they guarantee the growth, and you get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts when you use my name, Mark, at advancedhair.com. That's the promo code MARK at advancedhair.com. One-day treatment, life-changing results, guaranteed to grow. My name, Mark. Use it at advancedhair.com.
Thanks for calling Reliable Heating and Air. This is Steve. How can I help you?
Hi, I know it's late, but my furnace just died on us.
Don't worry at all. We have over 300 technicians throughout Metro Atlanta and Macon, so we can get to furnaces fast.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, yeah, and it looks like you have a reliable protection plan.
Yeah.
Perfect. This service call is no charge, and so's the repair.
Thank you so much.
Get fast and fair price furnace repair. Go to reliableair.com.
Reliable air is always just right.
At 2:34, Veronica Harrell is in the traffic center.
And issuing this travel advisory still with the crash 85 southbound before 17th Street, exit 84. 3 right lanes are blocked. You know you can avoid the backups by using the Buford Spring connector. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Headed to 80 today with a mostly cloudy sky. We'll have a few stray showers into and through the afternoon.
Looking nice for the weekend. 81 tomorrow, 77 on Sunday with partly cloudy skies. Right now it's 73 in Smyrna, 74 in Lilburn, and 75 in Eagles Landing. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Hello there, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I am checking in on the Nate Silver forecast. We got latest round of polling has a little bit of momentum towards Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Nate Silver says he thinks Donald Trump has a 53.8% chance of winning the Electoral College. Barely. We'll see. There is a late momentum shift in the polling towards Kamala Harris at the end. Just you can see it, trend lines in the polls. Even down to the state level, there's a little bit of a shift to Kamala Harris here at the end. But does it matter with all the early voting? We don't know. It is such a tight race. If you're going to vote, you can, like in Georgia, for example, where I am, today's the last day of early voting. If you don't vote today, you got to show up on Tuesday. A lot of other states, you can vote tomorrow, and in some states, Sunday as well. We will see. We will see. Right now, I want to go take some phone calls. 877-973-7425. Lynn, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. I called to comment about tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
And after I finished doing that, I was wondering if I could, as a registered nurse, I could give you some insights about the abortion issue.
Sure.
About tariffs. Okay. About tariffs, I really don't think Trump means for the tariffs to be a long-term thing. I think they're meant to affect the behavior of the other countries, to where the countries where they're subsidizing and lowering the price of their products and unfairly competing with the United States. So, yes, the cost of things would go up some, but it would also be stimulating our economy as well. I think, because I'm just thinking that the tariffs wouldn't be a long-term thing.
I hope so, although for the last week he said he wants them to replace the income tax, get rid of the income tax and just go to tariffs, so which we couldn't do. I mean, we know how much tariffs would generate, so I hope he's not serious in that regard. Yeah, you're right, by the way. Otherwise, on tariffs, it's trying to change these other countries' behavior, and I really think we should focus on China with these tariffs. You know, Europe just imposed tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. I'm not completely opposed to them, but if you're using them in place of the income tax, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But anyway, to abortion?
Yes.
as a registered nurse, I'm retired now, but in 1995, I started learning about the abortion issue because I'd always been kind of laissez-faire on abortion. I was pro-life, but didn't feel like I could impose my values on someone else. But I listened to a sermon by Dr. Francis Schaeffer that convicted me that we have to be proactive on the issue. So I started learning about it, and I've testified before several legislative bodies in South Carolina and before regulatory bodies as well. And I've learned a lot about it from a medical perspective that most people don't understand the real issue, and most of us are speaking past each other with slogans and sound bites. And it's really a pretty serious issue. Well, I think the story in the Bible about Solomon, his wise decision when they had the women that were fighting over the baby, and we all are like joyful, like the woman that was the actual mother got the baby. End of story. Well, we have to think about the woman who lost her baby, and why was she so mean that she wanted this other baby destroyed. And I think that it had something to do with her. I think she rolled over him in her sleep or something, and that's what caused it. She was somehow involved with the death of her baby. And I think that gives us some insight into the pain that a lot of women and men that are post-abortive have, and it's a really serious problem. I think I know because I've worked with post-abortion retreats where we have a weekend retreat of healing for people. There are many of them available online. You can learn about Rachel's Vineyard and Deeper Still and a lot of excellent programs that help people to heal. But most people, when they have and even these harsh people out in the streets, they are deeply affected by this. It's just not healthy or normal to kill your own children, whether people recognize it or not.
I'm glad you're saying this, Lynn, because that is something that it doesn't get talked about a lot, particularly even in a media that has become so pro-abortion in the country. And thank you for the phone call. There is a mental health aspect, particularly post-abortion. Most of the women that I know in the pro-life community who are aggressively, I would use the word militantly pro-life, are women who had abortions. Now, there are a lot of women in the pro-life movement who've never had abortions. It's a faith conviction most of the time. But the ones I know who are the radically pro-life people, they've all had abortions. And if you get to know these women, they have a sense of anger that they were lied to, that it was no big deal. And something just didn't feel right after the abortion, and it radicalized them. And there is this mental health component of what Lynn's getting at here. There's a mental health issue there that people don't seem to fully appreciate, don't want to talk about, particularly on the left. They don't want to deal with it. It only comes up on the right, but it's a big deal. And you talk to women in the pro-life movement who became pro-life because of an abortion, and it's a really, really big deal to them. Chris, you're going to be up next. Thanks for being patient. How are you?
No worries, man. How you doing, Eric? I love your show. I never miss an episode.
Thank you so much.
So, real quick, I wasn't going to vote, but today is my last day. I really don't feel like staying in line on the 5th. So one of my customers said, he asked me, did I vote? I said, no, I didn't vote. And he says, well, are you going to vote? I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and pray about it because, I don't know which go to the left or right. He's like, what do you mean pray? You don't need to pray. Just go with your gut. And I'm like, okay, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So right after that, a video that my wife sent me of Kamala Harris stating, this is, I had to look it up, and she actually did say this, that she does not care about what the polls say. She is going to win no matter what. You can look it up yourself.
It's her, her instinct. That's her gut. I played that audio the other day. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm literally on my way to vote now. So that just struck me. And I said, you know what? I prayed about it. I said, God, thank you for giving me a sign. And that's, for people that's out there right now listening to me, whether you're still undecided or not, if you can't make it today, obviously on the 5th, we really need to vote, and we really need to make the right decision. If you don't know how to make the decision, get on your hands and knees and pray about it. That's all I got to say.
Chris, that is well said. And again, for a lot of states, today is the last day of early voting. You can typically vote until 5 p.m. Some states will do weekend early voting. It really depends on your state. And then Election Day on Tuesday. I had a lady who emailed me and stopped saying we should all vote on Election Day. I personally do think that all Americans should stand in line together on Election Day, whether we're sweating or freezing or getting rained on. We should all stand in line on one day and do our civic duty. Now, that's not the way it works in this country, and I realize that. I think it should be, with very limited exceptions for infirmities and things like that for absentee balloting, like it used to be, frankly. But if we're going to do early voting, which we do, I think 2-3 weeks is enough. This voting since September, think about everything that has happened in this country since September, and then realize people in Pennsylvania have been voting since September. It's wild to think that people have been voting for that long, given the ups and downs in curves in this country. Albert, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Mr. Erickson. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for calling in.
All right, sir. I wanted to chat with you about the long-term impact of the election.
Okay.
It seems to me that you had said that it was, 4 years, and after that we can regain our ground, so to speak. But what worries me is the long-term implications with people like China and Russia and Iran and others involved who are far, far, far beyond the 4-year limit. So whatever we do today is going to have a long, long-term impact.
Well, yeah, the presidency does shape particularly foreign policy longer than anything. But my point is that this isn't going to be the end of the country. If you don't like what you get for the next 4 years, you're going to do it over again in 4 years. Stop internalizing that the country comes to an end if your side doesn't win. Both sides tell themselves that every single election that, oh, my God, if I lose, this is it, the end of democracy, the end of the republic. The other side's going to win and cling power, and this is going to be it, and the country's going to be fundamentally destroyed. That's not true. I mean, you're right that presidents have long-term impact, particularly on foreign policy, where the president has more power than Congress when it comes to foreign policy. But when it comes to the day-to-day operations of government, not so much. And when it comes to whether or not this country is going to come to an end or not, definitely not. We're going to do this all over again in 4 years. If you continue to fatalize this election, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it is not a coincidence that in this country, as fewer people go to church now, there is a direct correlation to the number of people who believe that if my guy doesn't get elected, it's the end of the world. If you're grounded in something other than politics, you don't have that worldview. But if you're grounded in politics, that's the only worldview you have. That the election is it. If my side loses, it's the end of the world. And that's simply not true. In 4 years, you'll be doing it all over again, constantly whipping yourself into existential frenzy. Darren, you're up next. Welcome to the show.
Eric, I'm telling you, it's a pleasure to speak with you. You've grown on me. When I first started listening to you a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm not so sure. And the more I listen to you, you've grown on me like a good fungus, man.
Well, listen, I will be your fungus.
That's a compliment. I wanted to tell you we're glad to have you on down here in Florida from noon to 3 on WOKV here in Jacksonville. We listened to Rush ever since I was like 18 years old, and so we're glad to have you here. And so I got to know, your thoughts are so profound on many different ways that I have been able to take your thoughts and share them with Democratic friends, Republic friends, and I'm kind of like you. I really wish I'd had someone else to vote for, but I chose the lesser two evils, and you said it really well when you said that you're not voting for Trump, you're voting for the people that Trump surrounds himself with, and I've used that many, many times over the last few weeks, and so I'm happy about that. My question is for you. How do you think the media is going to handle the next 72 hours? What kind of truth are we going to get? Or are we just going to have to listen to you on Monday?
Listen, Darren, thank you very much for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. And the truth of the matter is that in the next 48 to 72 hours, the media is going to do exactly what it has done over the last 24 hours with this Trump comment on Liz Cheney and exaggerated. To his credit, Jonah Goldberg is a CNN political commentator, and Jonah Goldberg reacted on CNN this morning to Donald Trump's statement about Liz Cheney and the firing squad. And let me read you his statement. He says, "This morning on CNN, I referred to Trump's rifles comment as him advocating a firing squad for Liz Cheney. I was reacting in haste to what were objectively appalling and irresponsible comments that have been framed in the setup piece in the context of previous statements Trump made about shooting protesters and having generals executed. I was wrong to say he was calling for a firing squad execution. After I said that, my co-panelist Brad Todd made the case I was wrong. Brad was right, and I was wrong. Trump was making a different argument about Cheney's alleged foreign policy views and the use of force. I let my disgust at Trump's comments get the better of me." Good for Jonah. The media willfully mischaracterized Donald Trump's comments. Willfully mischaracterized Donald Trump's comments to claim that he wanted Liz Cheney to be before a firing squad, and it wasn't true at all. And now they're having to backpedal on it. And we're going to get, for the next 72 hours, we're going to get media lies to try to help Kamala Harris. All right, I got to tell you about Old Glory Bank before I get out of here and go to commercial break. Old Glory Bank, my paycheck got deposited there today. It is my bank. I got a bank account with them. I got a no-fee checking account and a no-fee savings account with Old Glory Bank, and you can too at oldglorybank.com. Oldglorybank.com. What you do is you go to oldglorybank.com and you fill out your account. You get this, and then you start a relationship with them. You can get mortgages from them. You can get CDs from them. You get loans from them for car loans and the like. And even though they're an online bank, you can even deposit cash. My old online bank, the reason I switched to Old Glory Bank last year is because I was using an online bank and I couldn't deposit cash. And at Old Glory Bank, they make it really easy with 88,000 retail locations, and they're conservatives. They're by conservatives, for conservatives. I can use my Old Glory Bank debit card and buy a gun. Can't do that at my old online bank either. They wouldn't allow you to do firearms purchases with your debit card. Old Glory Bank, they're conservatives. They don't care. OldGloryBank.com is the website. OldGloryBank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
You can follow Eric around on social media at EW Erickson on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And check him out at EWErickson.com.
251 in the Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news for my folks trying to head over into Midtown. Crash now off to the right, 85 southbound before 17th Street, exit 84. However, you are still really dealing with some backups on Georgia 400 as well as I-85. It's a stalled tractor trailer over on the southeast side, 285 eastbound, that outer loop at Flat Shoals Road. That's exit 48. It knocks out the second left lane. And then moving over into Holly Springs, the crash is gone. 575 northbound at 6th Road, exit 11. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
Election Day 2024.
Your vote counts.
I will stop the invasion.
Listen all day and night for up-to-the-minute election coverage.
We are focused on the needs of the American people.
Election Day is 4 days away. And beginning at 6 p.m. election night, listen for our special in-depth election coverage with results and analysis.
95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station.
Every single month that you wait to call Myland is just another month where you've likely paid more than you should have on your mortgage. This is Scott Slade. The time to act is now. Everything is moving in the right direction for you to start saving on your mortgage. No matter your scenario, Myland has seen it. Reverse mortgages for you or your parents, specialty purchase programs, cash out refinances, second mortgages, rental properties, VA and FHA. Mortgages are Myland's specialty. And when you've been doing it as long as they have, you've seen it all. I've been saying it for years, and it's still true today. Myland is constantly closing loans other lenders just can't close. The Fed is starting to lower rates, so your time to act is now. Take a few minutes out of your day and call my friends at Myland. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's mylend.com. Spelled it MILEND. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage License C148769. Myland's located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. Kamala and Joe raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle. And their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Inc.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-926-0155. 800-926-0155. 800-926-0155.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
95.5 WSB, your 2024 election station.
Email and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
So a Republican polling firm has polled the swing states. Here you go. It is Pennsylvania 49-47 Trump, Michigan 48-48 tie, Wisconsin 47-47 tie, Arizona 50-47 Trump. That is wild. Also, they are the same Republican firm showing a tie in Arizona. And in fact, y'all, if y'all have heard me, I'm like, there's no way Carrie Lake pulls this off. She's such a terrible candidate. And yet I'm starting to think the momentum in Arizona, she might just be able to pull this off. There are 4 days left. This is going to be the crazy weekend of the campaign. I want you to do me a favor this weekend. Darren, if you're listening down in Jacksonville, I want you to do me a favor. Don't believe anything you read online this weekend. Just don't do it. Don't do it. There's going to be so much from both sides, not just the Democrats, from both sides. It's going to be a big deal. Now, I can tell you, again, as Nate Silver and everyone else has said, there's not a lot you can extrapolate from early voting. But I want to point this out for you. Dawson County, Georgia, which is north of Atlanta. Dawson County, Georgia, is a Trump plus 68 county. The early voting in Dawson County, Georgia, as of right now, this afternoon, as we're going off the air on the last Friday of early voting in Georgia, has surpassed the total turnout from 2020. It is the first county in the United States of America to do that. and probably won't be the last. But this county, it's a 60, this county is one of the most Republican counties in the state. Here's the Republican number from 2008, 82%, from 2012, 86%, from 2016, 83%, from 2020, 83%. No Democrat is going to win that county, and it has surpassed its total vote cast from 2020 in early voting, which is remarkable. I, again, don't believe we're going to be waiting weeks to find out who won this election come Tuesday, but we got 4 days left, people. Keep your head on straight. I'll talk to you Monday.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
It's Christmas shopping season and the thefts are easy. You know what's going on? The Porch Pirates. This is their peak season. And what happens is they're following around the UPS trucks, the Amazon trucks, the FedEx trucks, and they see the delivery person drop off a package and bam, they grab it and they're gone. If you're ordering something really expensive, I know it's not as convenient, but pick it up at a drop place. So, Amazon has the lockers, and there are UPS stores and FedEx places where you can go pick them up if it's a valuable item, instead of having it sit there vulnerable on your front porch where you're then having to fight to get that item replaced or get your money back. I'm Clark Howard.